Hi, everybody. I'm going to go grab a water. I don't think I have enough in front of me to make it.
Okay, great idea. We should always have plenty of water to help move all of this energy through us. So I'm going to pause the recording just for a moment until Helen comes back. Okay, so I'm so excited to see that we've got Helen and Carol here today for this temple activation. Let me share my screen again. This is the root chakra activation today. Today is July 26th, Venus and the moon together in the sky. And the root chakra is the gate of manifestation. So we have on this morning star descent journey, we have one more gate activation, which happens next month before we go into the Inanna underworld. And next month's activation is the completion of the phase 1 portion of this project. So next month, I'll talk a little bit more. We have already kind of dipped our toes into what phase 2 will be about, but we'll talk a little bit more about that next month as well. So that's kind of where we are within the project. So this particular Venus temple is on the island of, I'm guessing it's pronounced Kaua'i, Hawaii. And this is the monastery that is there, the San Marga Iraivan Hindu Temple Monastery. And I've pulled in some information so we can learn a little bit about this monastery and the location, because I was completely blown away when I started diving a little deeper into it. And so the Venus temple guardians here at this site are Lord Shiva, his consort, the goddess Parvati, their son Ganesha, and Nandi the bull. So we'll see a little bit more about that too. So first of all, let's talk about our Venus temple guardians. And here's a family portrait, so to speak. Here's Lord Shiva. His mantra is Om Namah Shivaya. Hello, Rebecca. So happy you made it.
Oh, I was having difficulties getting in.
Great.
Typical. Hi, ladies.
This is the goddess Parvati, and her mantra is Om Shri Parvati Deviye Namaha. And what's interesting about this gate activation is it's happening in the sign of Cancer. And astrologically, Cancer is ruled by the moon, who represents the archetype of the Great Mother in Cancer, and that lineage, the lineage of the Great Mother. And in the Hindu pantheon of gods and goddesses, Parvati is one of the goddesses that is an embodiment of that Great Mother archetype. So this is their son, Ganesha, and his mantra is Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. And this is Nandi the bull. And if you're not familiar with any of the Hindu gods, they all have what they call a vehicle. And I think Ganesha's vehicle is the mouse. But for Lord Shiva, Nandi the bull is his vehicle, which is why he's here. So these are the temple guardians here at the monastery in Hawaii. So let's talk a little bit about where this temple location is. So if you look at a map of the Hawaiian Islands, so you see right over here, amongst the islands, that's where the island of Kaua'i is. Here's a greater map of the island of Kaua'i. But when we want to see where the temple is located, so you see this is that map right here of Kaua'i, and it's looking at this larger picture, is looking at this region. So you can kind of see that this tip is like right there. And so here's the monastery. So it looks like the monastery is approximately there on the island, but that gives you kind of a mental image of where it is that we're going to be traveling to. And let's talk a little bit about the temple. So we know it's a Hindu Iraivan temple. And Iraivan is an ancient Tamil word for God. Tamil is the language that they speak in the state of Tamil Nadu. And here it is, if you're looking at the country of India, you'll see that Tamil Nadu is right here in the lower southeastern tip. And what's interesting is that this Hindu temple comes from a lineage, which I'm going to show you in a minute, a guru lineage that is based in Sri Lanka. And you can see that Sri Lanka is right off the coast of Tamil Nadu. So this is some really fascinating information about this temple. Not going to read through all of it. There is a link here where I found these details, the HimalayanAcademy.com. But it is associated with this guru lineage that I mentioned that comes out of Sri Lanka. And this particular temple is a specific temple to Lord Shiva. So of course, it's no surprise that Lord Shiva and his family are the temple guardians. And it was decreed that no other images other than images of Lord Shiva would be there at the temple. So some of the things that are interesting about the temple is the sacred geometry that is involved that follows this 4,000-year-old design code. The fact that there is a Shiva lingam in there. I have a tiny Shiva lingam. Let me stop the share so that you can get a better look at my Shiva lingam. This is my lingam. This one I think came out of the river Ganges. So these are not handcrafted. These are made in nature. And it tells us here that that the Shiva lingam that is in the temple, the innermost sanctum, is 3 feet tall, it's 6-sided, it's 700 pounds of quartz. And it tells us here, again, it is not hand tooled. This is something that came right from the nature, and it took 50 million years to make that Shiva lingam. So that's just incredible. They also built it with black and rose granite. Again, they did not use any hand machines. The granite pieces are pieces that are natural pieces. So those are some interesting tidbits about this temple that is a monastery. And it's also historic in that it's the first all-stone hand-carved Hindu temple that has been constructed in the Western Hemisphere. So that's huge to know that Shiva temple is there. So here we are in our descent journey. We have come all the way down here now to the root chakra. And at this root chakra, this is where we have access to the portal, the realm, the dimension of the mother aspect of Sophia. And so we know that Sophia, as divine wisdom, has her 3 aspects, as does the Christ. And I will put a link to this video in the description box where you can look at that class, and I talk about the mother aspect of Sophia there. And what's really spectacular is that the spiritual gift that we have access to through this dimension is sovereignty consciousness. Remember, this is the gate of manifestation. To really be able to manifest your heart's desire, you've got to be a sovereign being. And what you're going to see when we look at the cosmic aspects for this gate is that Lilith, who is a sovereignty goddess, is closely conjunct within a degree of the Venus moon gate. So all of these pieces come together. The fact that the gate is in Cancer, which is the archetype of the Great Mother, the fact that Parvati, as one of the temple goddesses, is an embodiment of the Great Mother. So all of these pieces come together. Okay, so I wasn't really inspired to do a lot of writing in my blog this month, but what was going on was this high energy woman free 9-day virtual summit. And I tried to do a lot of promotion about it. The thing that I would like for you to know about this, and you can find this information on my blog, is that while the 9-day summit has completed, you can still register for the summit, and all of the interviews from the 25 speakers are still available to listen to for free. Each speaker is giving a free giveaway. But the most important thing that I want you to understand is that my giveaway for the conversation that I had is a free light codes activation reading. And I know from listening to the conversation that it doesn't really make it clear how my free giveaway ties in with my discussion, but I did want to point it out today that you can still go there, you can still hear that conversation, you can still take advantage of that free giveaway, which is a light codes activation reading, and it will be a light codes activation reading for today's Venus temple activation. So I encourage all of you watching this and participating that if you'd like to take advantage of that, to do so. And so here are the aspects. These are the aspects that are informing the light codes that we are installing at the Venus temple below that Hindu monastery today. And here is where I told you the Venus moon gate is closely conjunct Black Moon Lilith. The fact that there is a yod involved in this activation, remember that the yod is the finger of the goddess. This is a point of destiny, and that it involves Osiris, who represents that Christ consciousness at the apex, and that Magdalene, the embodiment of Sophia consciousness, is one of the anchor points of the base, is just really phenomenal and makes this activation and these light codes even more potent. So if you get the free light codes activation reading for this, for this temple activation, I'll go into more detail about what all of that means. But generally speaking, in terms of what is today's activation all about, what we see here with this activation being conjunct Lilith, being in Cancer, and you'll notice up here that there is a square to Asmodeus in Libra. So what this gate activation is all about in general terms is how the Great Mother, the moon, we could even say also Parvati, and Lilith are collaborating to support our breakthrough in consciousness. Remember squares, that 90-degree angle, always breakthroughs in consciousness. And this breakthrough in consciousness that they are supporting for us is about healing our emotional wounds, right? Because these wounds are manifestations of separation consciousness. And they're being healed in order to bring that emotional body back into balance, right? Bringing us back into emotional balance, and thereby bringing them from separation consciousness into unity consciousness. And when those areas of ourself come into unity consciousness, the manifestation of that is that we are able to reclaim more of our sovereignty. And because this is in Cancer, all water signs have to do with the emotions and the emotional body. This is reclaiming sovereignty in our emotional body. So this is very, very potent. Okay, let me, before we establish sacred space, go ahead and stop the share. give you guys an opportunity to comment on anything that you heard, ask any questions that you might have. Anybody at all? Okay. I'm going to go back to sharing the screen. And so if you would like to just find a comfortable position, I'll go ahead and establish the sacred space, call in our galactic collaborators. Turning on my candle here. Okay, so we claim this space for the Sophia Christ consciousness. We call in the cosmic Sophia, divine wisdom, and Mary Magdalene, the embodiment of Sophia consciousness. We call in the cosmic Christ, divine will, and Yeshua, the embodiment of Christ consciousness. We call in the Arcturian and Pleiadian star beings who are working on this project with us for Gaia, for humanity. And for everybody who is present here and may be joining us in the nonlinear future, we call in our mentorship councils. We call in our galactic teams, our spirit allies. And we call in the Venus temple guardians. We call in Nandi the bull. We call in Ganesha. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. We call in Parvati. Om Shri Parvati Deviye Namaha, Om Shri Parvati Deviye Namaha, Om Shri Parvati Deviye Namaha. And we call in Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Sadguru Nath Maharaj Ki Jai. And so now we just want to take a moment to connect with and dive deeply into our heart space. Take some deep inhales. Feeling yourself connecting with your heart space. Reminding yourself that this is where you come home to yourself. This is where you connect with your inner strength. This is where you connect with your inner power. As you continue with the inhales, bringing it in deep into the belly. Bringing the inhale into your pelvic floor. Feeling that pelvic floor expand with the breath. Breathing into that root chakra that is being activated with the Sophia codes today. Breathing down into your earth star chakra, which is below your feet. Allowing yourself to connect with the heart of Gaia. Bringing your attention once more to your heart center. And now opening the stellar gateway. And from the stellar gateway, choosing to connect and align with your higher self, aligning with your divine self, aligning with your infinite eternal self, aligning with your multidimensional self, knowing that these are all names, same names for that greater part of you that is an extension of Source. And now being aware that the rose gold Christo-Sophia light codes are beginning to descend through the stellar gateway into your crown chakra. Flowing into your third eye chakra. And the rose gold Christo-Sophia light codes are flowing now from the third eye chakra into your throat chakra. From here, they flow into your heart chakra. The light codes come into your solar plexus chakra. Flowing down into your sacral chakra. And now the Christo-Sophia light codes are in the root chakra. These rose gold light codes are allowing Sophia to birth herself into your root chakra. And the light codes flow down into your earth star chakra, into the heart of Gaia. And coming back to the awareness of your heart space, you remind yourself, I am the bridge. I am the bridge between heaven and earth. And when you feel fully saturated and expanded by the rose gold Christo-Sophia light codes, you can activate your light body, your Merkaba, whatever term you use, and prepare to travel to the temple on the island of Kaua'i, Hawaii. And we will all gather there below the Hindu temple. And now that we are here, the first thing that I see is that the light from the Shiva Linga below is illuminating this temple space. Excuse me, the Shiva temple, the Shiva Linga above in the Hindu temple. The light from it is illuminating this Venus temple below it. And we see here our Pleiadian and Arcturian brothers and sisters that have been waiting for us to arrive. And take a moment to greet those whom you know. And you'll notice that the light from this six-sided Shiva Lingam is making a sacred geometrical pattern in light on the floor of the temple. And so we all expand and step back to create a circle surrounding this sacred geometric light pattern that is flowing in from the lingam. And as we focus on this sacred geometric pattern of light, in the very center, Nandi, Ganesha, Parvati, and Lord Shiva himself appear to us as the temple guardians. And as they turn to each of us and bow to us, the moment that Parvati puts her hand on her heart chakra, this sacred geometric light symbol is installed at your root chakra. And so in turn, they bow to each of us. Parvati puts her hands on her heart chakra, and this sacred geometric light pattern is installed in the root chakra of the next person. And they continue to do this, going around the entire circle, so that all of us who are present receive this geometric light pattern in our root chakra. And now that the circle is complete and each person present has received this sacred geometric light pattern in their root chakra, from this sacred geometry, from this light, a lingam springs forth from the root chakra, and it becomes larger and larger within you as it moves up successively into each chakra, into your sacral chakra, into your solar plexus chakra, into your heart chakra, into your throat chakra, into your third eye chakra, and into your crown chakra. And you can feel the physical sensation of this immense lingam that has grown within you, connecting all of your chakras. And if you start to have a gagging sensation in your throat, just hold the intention that the throat expands to be able to accommodate this lingam. And now the lingams within each of us are receiving the rose gold Christo-Sophia light codes from within us. And as the lingams receive those codes, they are radiated into this sacred pattern, light pattern on the floor. And then Lord Ganesha raises his hands, and the codes in this pattern are implanted into the Shiva lingam above it in the Hindu temple. As above, so below. And now Nandi, Ganesha, Parvati, and Shiva take their leave. They simply dematerialize before our eyes. The installation is complete. And you can hear chanting in the background. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. And it just continues. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. And the silence pervades us, and all we hear is the Om Namah Shivaya. So turn quietly to the neighbor on either side of you and embrace in gratitude. And then the neighbor on the other side, embrace in gratitude. Bringing your hands into the prayer position in front of your heart chakra. And bowing. We are now complete. And when you are ready, you can begin your journey back to where you are sitting now, where your physical body is sitting now. Allow yourself some time to settle back into your physical body. Be aware of the space that has been created to accommodate this new Shiva lingam that you will carry with you from this day forward. And when you're ready, just wiggle your fingers and toes and very gently open your eyes and get your bearings, just gently. And when you can, be sure to drink a lot of water to help you settle in.
Sophia, I want to know what you experienced. You look like you went through some stuff. What did you experience?
I am just, well, first of all, I will share that Parvati is one of my personal guides. So this was really personal and intimate for me. But anytime you're dealing with Lord Shiva, the power of, he's known as the destroyer god. I cannot find words for what happens is the mind disappears. And there's only the silence, which is why it's hard to find the words. So, take your time. If you're able to find any words to share, I'm not surprised if it's challenging for you. Just feel, just share whatever your heart is desiring to share.
Rebecca, you can go next. I want to go last.
And I'm sitting here going, Carol. Well, it was beautiful. And of course, my girlfriend is in from out of town. And she got here right before it started. So she sat to join us.
Oh,
and then we're just getting into it. Everything is wonderful. And my next door neighbor comes knocking on the door. And the dog goes ballistic. And she gets pulled right out of wherever she was. And I'm like, to me, it was like she was 1,000 miles away. I heard her talking, I heard her knocking, but I was not letting myself come back. I'll just tell her later. I was meditating and she'll understand. And I was just like, when I opened my eyes and saw the flower of life in the pink and the purple, that's all was right here. Now, not so much in the flower of life, but in those colors. And when we were hugging and saying goodbye, it was all light. Over here, light, 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 light. And I was like, oh, somebody's talking to me. And you know me, I don't know what they're saying. She knows light language, I don't. And that was really cool. But the interruption was there, but I still felt really nice. I didn't get choked by Shiva, by the
Lingam.
The lingam. Thank you. But the presence of everything, it's just always, it's always overwhelming for me and beautiful. So I'm not on that level of where I can really describe, because the fact that I can't remember my dreams or see in that realm frustrates me. But the energy and the love and I would say if I had to pick a word, it would be joy. So that's what I picked.
Wow, that's a great word.
Do you have anything?
Oh, we would love to hear from you. Will you come on camera?
All right.
I look like shit. Don't worry about it.
Gonna trade me spots.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, and what is your name?
Hi. My name is Debbie.
Debbie. Hi, Debbie.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I was way gone deep before they started knocking on the door. And then it kind of pulled me up and out. But I could feel the lingam all the way up. It was almost like it was pushing to expand me
Yes.
through the chakras.
Yes.
That because I was getting back into it by then, and I could feel it going all the way up, and it was really an interesting feel to it, you know.
Mhm.
It was like, okay, somebody's opening me right up. And I didn't see any colors. I'm not real visual, but I had trouble getting right back in again. So,
That's
but it was good. It was good. I was going before they knocked on the door. I was gone somewhere, you know, and that happens to me in meditation. I just go bye.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you could join us. Thank you for
Yeah, I
sharing.
got here just in time.
That's great. You certainly were meant to be there. That's fantastic.
I guess so.
Yes,
I guess
yes.
so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anything else, Rebecca, that you'd like to share?
No, I think I'm good. You know, I have to process everything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's okay.
Go ahead, move.
That's okay.
And what I might do is re-watch it without the interruption, because the last one I missed you guys. I was at work. I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed. And again, universe, Roxy, please go lay down. Thank you.
Go lay down.
I was very disappointed, and I did it anyway. But it's not the same when I'm not with you guys. Like, I love being with you. It's just the presence of all of us
Yes.
live. Not that it doesn't when I watch it over,
Right.
but I think watching it over without the disruption, I think maybe I'll be
Yeah.
able to process a little bit more too. And being that today's the 26th, like, it was just so nice. I was wondering, what am I going to do today? What meditation am I going to do? What am I going to feel today for the opening, you know, for the new year? And so I'm really thrilled.
Excellent. Excellent. So when you say the new year, I'm not exactly following you.
Well, because of the way the opening of the Lion's Gate, some people refer to it as a new year.
Ah,
So
okay.
that's kind of how I take it, is that time between now and the 12th. It's just kind of like a little
So
opening.
this portal for the Lion's Gate, the 8/8 portal's gate, is opening today. Is that what you're telling us?
Mhm.
Aha. See, my mind's not even there because I'm so focused on this.
Right.
So thank you for sharing that, because that's really incredible, isn't it?
Well, that's why I thought, like, you usually post this earlier. And all of a sudden I look down and I'm like, oh my God, this is perfect, because I was looking for something to start it with. And being Debbie, she's my Leo. She's like priestess Leo, you know, like, so it was like really, really cool. Yeah, so that meant a lot to me to have this today. So, and you're usually on that. So
I'm usually on it, but really I've been like so enmeshed in this activation since I found, I mean, I knew the temple was in Hawaii, but I didn't really know anything. But once I found out what was there, I've just been like, whoa, just like falling into it.
Yeah.
So great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you guys, can you clarify what a lingam is? I've never really heard that term.
This is the
Oh,
Shiva.
that. Oh, that's what I was trying to think. It was a line of light, or I just didn't connect them at all.
Right. So it represents the absolute reality, right? It's called the cosmic egg. It's the beginning, and right, there's no beginning, there's no end. Everything is contained within. And so while it's usually identified as masculine with Shiva, and it usually sits on trying to find the word, a yoni, sits on a yoni, right? The feminine Parvati. So it's, you know, if you think about the masculine and feminine sex organs, right, coming together, a lot of people use that representation. But even though it's normally attributed to the sacred masculine, because the sacred masculine cannot be separated from the sacred feminine, they're in always unified. It's also a representation of the cosmic egg through which all things are birthed.
Because I was just having trouble visualizing which is unusual for me.
That's okay.
Because when you did the meditation, which is another unusual thing, is I literally was in this brown gourd. I could say the bottom of a gourd, and it
Of
was
a what?
round and
I
it
can't
was
hear that word.
gourd, like the bottom of a cave. It was round and it was brown and it was curved, and I was sitting at the bottom of it.
Wow.
And just like inner earther, and I literally stayed in that meditative lotus state during the meditation, and I saw and heard everything, but and the ground became from like brown to a warm color. But it just, one of the few times I didn't have a whole bunch of stuff. I just stayed in that state of quiet and peace in the bottom of the gourd. I guess as they kept saying it was a gourd, and maybe it was part of that. What do you say that name was? Say that name of the.
So
Eden?
it's spelled,
Eden?
I'm going to put it in the chat, but I'm also going to spell it out verbally. It's Lingam. Lingam.
Lingam. Maybe it was just the bottom of a lingam, because it was literally a bottom part of something. And I just stayed there and I was very content. So this is one of the few times I didn't experience a bunch of stuff. I was just there in a meditative state.
That's beautiful. And it's funny because as you were describing it, I was having the same sense that you just said, that maybe it was like the bottom part of a lingam. Yeah.
And then when you were talking about it rising, they kept saying, well, you're already there. Well, it's already there. And I'm like, so then I got real confused about what a lingam was, because they kept saying I was already there. So that clarifies it a lot. Okay.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the slides if everyone is complete. Okay, great. Thanks for all that fabulous sharing. And so at this point, we're going to go ahead and allow Yeshua to come forward and allow Carol to channel that message from Yeshua.
I have to do the reconnection. Give me just a moment here. So as we come in, we remind you that as the lingam is the sacred male, think of the inhalation, the tool of the breath, as bringing in that energy and releasing it, letting go, is the female compassion, understanding. So as you breathe in, there is the one part of the sacred duo. And as you breathe out, you release it and become the other part, as the tide is, as the breath is. Everything is the ebb and flow. The moon is the ebb and flow. Your breath is the most useful ebb and flow that there is. We would ask everyone for just a moment to sit in the lingam, however it's visual, however it resonates with them, whether it's in the core of the earth, whether it's the lingam line, whatever that resonates, the core. Take a moment to sit, connect with the sacred male of you, your sacred male, your ability to bring forth, to do action. Letting that go, bring in the sacred female, the ability to create, compassion, the psychic natural ability that all women carry. Developed or not, women are naturally given psychics, given compassion because of their heart, their compassion, their ability to know the base of the body, to know how their body works. Throughout the life, a woman is in tune with her body, whether she chooses to or not. It is part of her naturalness. So in this point, we will ask you to be aware of your sacred masculine, bringing in that energy, bringing in the action, releasing that, and bringing in the sacred feminine, which is your compassion, which is the love. Bringing in your strength, releasing and letting go. Seeing yourself divinely connected to Mother and Father, Sun and Moon, light and dark, yin and yang. Use the tools that were given to you. The main tool is one of breath. You are all part of the sacred yin and yang. And we thank you for continuing this journey with us. And so it is. Oh, I'm sorry. I totally went away. Sorry.
That's okay.
Go away. I just realized I wasn't even there. I'm sorry.
That's all right. So I'm going to bring the slides back. And let's see. Now's the time for any questions and answers. Does anybody have anything that they'd like clarification on that they've experienced today? Okay. So this is the next installation ceremony. This is going to be at the Temple of the Crescent Moon. And it's at the site of the St. Louis Cathedral in New Orleans in Louisiana. And if you purchased the Venus Temple manual, that manual does not include this Venus Temple. This Venus Temple was revealed to me in a discussion that I was having with one of my priestess sisters that happened to be in New Orleans at the time, I think back in February, March timeframe. And a lot of information came through about why that temple was forgotten. And I'll be sharing that at the next ceremony. And it's interesting, you know, we know that New Orleans is known for voodoo. And that is often associated with dark magic, but that is a perversion. And so we'll talk about that. So it's interesting that we're actually having this Earth Star chakra, which is the death by intention portal, while we're at that temple. So it'll make more sense to you when we discuss it then. The actual Venus gate activation is on August 25th. However, I have some commitments that I cannot rearrange on that date. So we will do the temple ceremony on August 27th, which is the following Saturday. It'll still be at 4 p.m. So just bring that into your awareness. This will be the last temple activation, which is the phase 1 part of the project. From here, we go into the Inanna underworld. We will be having the resurrection point happen in October. That's when Venus and Sun come together. That's when we'll be linking up all of these 8 Venus temples that we've installed the Christo-Sophia light codes in. And we will, after linking them all up, we will be bringing it online. So that matrix, that foundational grid for the new Earth will then be online and present in this dimension. So, you know, we've been rising in our ascension into 5th dimension, but here we also are bringing it into this dimension. So when we bring that grid online, that grid will be here in 3D, which is facilitating this shift from the 3D into the 5D Earth. We will then, that will initiate phase 2, And if you haven't seen what I've been writing and what I shared in the previous one, the entire phase 2 is about the activation of our 12 DNA strand. And at that resurrection point in October, that's where the 3rd strand of DNA becomes activated. And this whole phase 2 project is being overseen or collaborated with the goddess Lilith, who is the sovereignty goddess that was present here at this gate activation. So again, it all ties back, and you'll remember a couple of months ago, she even announced through one of my blog posts that she would be joining this project and would be revealing how she would be participating. So that whole 12-strand light code activation that will be happening in phase 2 gets started in October at that resurrection point where Venus and Sun come together. So we've done tremendous groundwork by the time we do this final temple activation next month. And it's just going to be even more mind-blowing than what it's already been. So a lot to look forward to. So that's it for me. Does anybody have any final words that they'd like to say? Go ahead and put on your microphones. If you just
I have just a question, because as I left and, Joshua came in and he's left, I had, and maybe you can clarify it because I don't really stay when he talks, is I had a real sense that this temple was using the strength and the conjuncture and the combining of both the male and the female in holy creation. And I just had a strong sense of sacred union, of sacredness working together, of male and female working in harmony. And I don't know if that's directly connected to where we were, but I felt when he was leaving and I was coming in, very strong male and female together working as a unit. And I don't know if that makes sense, but as we exchanged, I felt that. So if you could, I know this sounds weird, but if you could clarify that, what's connected to that?
Yes, absolutely. And I to me, it's just so mystical and so magnificent that you received that understanding and that you're speaking to it, because in the Hindu pantheon, every god, Shiva, Brahma, Krishna, Vishnu, every one of them has their consort, their goddess. Shiva and Parvati, it is the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine, always in sacred union. Yes, that's exactly right. And so even though the guru of that lineage declared there will be no other images other than the image of Shiva, well, that's the yang side, right? Putting the images of Shiva. What's the yin side? That Parvati is invisible, but she is there.
Thanks, because I was just, like I said, when I come back in, I just come in at the tail end and I'm like, well, somebody needs to explain to me what I just felt.
Yeah.
And I know that's unusual for me to say, but sometimes I don't get everything.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
But I think that because the Lang is the male and the female, I think that's why you were getting it. You were sitting in it. Do you know what I mean? And then to me, the two are always one.
Exactly.
So it just made so much sense that that's what you felt, even though you didn't know what one was. You were feeling it, so you had it, so you were just experiencing it without knowing what it was. That's how I saw it.
Exactly. That's exactly it. I was experiencing it without knowing what it was. That's exactly it.
Right.
And Debbie has a question for you.
Yes. And let me just say that this is cosmic truth that you are receiving. This knowledge, this wisdom is being shared with you through Sophia. She is divine wisdom. And so it's no surprise that you could feel it, you were receiving it, you knew that there was something there. And so hopefully, yeah, we've clarified the context for you.
Yeah.
Great contribution, Rebecca. That was really significant. So Debbie, what's your question?
Well, I live in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So I was curious when
Not
New
too
Orleans,
far from New
When-
Orleans.
an hour,
Yeah.
an hour away. So these sites how have they been picked? Just curious.
So in the Venus Temple manual, there's a woman whose name I can't remember, but it's in one of my previous videos, probably the introductory one. And I don't even remember how many years ago, maybe at least a decade ago, the priestess sisters of my priestess lineage, who were doing work with Venus, connected with that woman who was channeling Thoth,
Okay.
who is
I know
Thoth,
who that is.
right?
Yeah,
He's an Egyptian god known as the scribe,
right.
also known as Hermes in the Greek, also known as Mercury in the Roman, right? So the scribe, the messenger, and Thoth told them through this channel where these Venus temples were located. So that, and I've actually, one of them is in Rennes-le-Château, France. It's actually a landscape Venus temple that has been known about for thousands of years. This one in New Orleans is also a landscape temple. It's the Temple of the Crescent Moon. And you probably know, being from Louisiana, Debbie, that New Orleans is called the Crescent City.
Right.
And it's because as the Mississippi River runs through right by the old town there, that part of the Mississippi is shaped like a crescent moon. And
Right.
so we talk about what we will talk about in the next class, why the crescent moon is another ancient symbol of the sacred feminine, and why that denotes that there was a Venus temple there, a sacred temple that before they showed up in the 1700s and started, doing whatever they were doing there to build New Orleans, and decided that the Catholic Church was going to build a cathedral there. It was already sacred ground. And we know that a lot of the Catholic churches in Europe especially are built on ancient Isis sites, sacred feminine sites.
So they
And
can
so-
keep the feminine depressed. So they can keep the feminine depressed, really, at the Catholic Church. And what's interesting in New Orleans, when you're in the square, you're below sea level, so it looks like that crescent that you're looking up at.
I just got flooded with energy.
Yeah.
See, I've seen the pictures of the square, but they don't show you that, and they don't speak to, all of this knowledge, this hidden knowledge, this sometimes forgotten knowledge. You're not
Right.
going to find this on the internet.
Right. No, you're not. And, I've been in New Orleans quite a bit. I do not like the energy. I do not like New Orleans. Nice place to visit. Wouldn't want to live there for sure. The energy is still, after the hurricanes, it cleared a lot of it out, but the energy is still not right down there at all. And, yeah, it's really weird because when you're in the square, you're looking up at sea level, at the water, so.
That's phenomenal. Thank you for sharing that piece. That's a huge piece to
Now
be.
I have a question. Is she going to be able to go to that place? Is it at that church? Is where, like, if she wants to do that on the 25th?
If you want to go to the church and sit in the church and participate, you can. The thing is, you're going to need earbuds, right? If you're going to actually watch the live thing, you're going to make sure that you've got some kind of internet connection so that you can get on Zoom.
No, I meant on the 25th.
Oh, you mean when the actual gate activation?
Yeah.
Yeah, go and see what you receive.
Yeah, because I've been at the I've been at the healing practice over 40 years now, so I'm really sensitive to energy. So it might be interesting. I'll get my friend Holly and I to take a little trip down and check it out, you know.
Yeah.
and see.
Yeah, and that would be something really fun for you to
I
share
wanted to
with
take
us
a picture.
in the
Yeah.
after ceremony.
If she could also join our Zoom next month, if she's gonna go to the temple and then like
Thank you,
contribute
Sharon.
to what her experience was, that would be so awesome.
That would be fantastic.
Okay, I will.
No pressure.
You have
And
to
where's
remind me.
what church is it that it's at?
It's the St. Louis Cathedral. I mean, you can't
St.
miss it. It's
Louis
the
Cathedral.
oldest building in New Orleans. It was built in the early 1700s.
I may have been in that. You know, I've been in a lot of places in New Orleans, just sightseeing, you know, when I was sightseeing and stuff. But I
Not the
I'll
original.
look it up.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to overtalk you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I said I'll look it up while I'm down
Yeah.
there because I'm
Yeah.
going.
We're
home
breaking
tomorrow.
up. Okay, there you are. There you are. Yeah. Yeah, it's not the original cathedral. The original cathedral burned down in, I think, the 1780s. So they built this other one on top of the same place. And it's actually named for King Louis the Ninth, who I think was the King of France at the time that they came over in the early 1700s, and then decided, you know, the Roman Catholic Church decided that they were going to build it. So
Yeah, because it's huge French influence in that area, Cajun
Mhm.
French people, you know,
Mhm. Mhm.
and yeah, all over. I love Louisiana. Tell you the
Right.
truth.
Great. That's
She's
wonderful.
going home tomorrow, so
Okay.
get my visits. So
Yeah.
thank you,
Exciting.
ladies. This was very nice.
Thank you. Okay, everybody good until next month?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for showing up.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Bye, Carol.